There he is. Oh, so dirty. He's gone. Winter mornings, grey skies, drizzly rain, cold weather. It's been like this pretty much every single day for the last 5 or 6 weeks, I'd say. Although it hasn't actually been that cold, it's been unseasonably warm. Been around about sort of 8, 9, 10 degrees every day, which is quite unusual for December. I like to have a hot drink though after we take the dogs for a walk in the morning. Usually take them out for about 3 or 4 kilometre walk. Every morning, come back, have a wash, have a nice hot drink, and then kind of settle in for the day. I'm having a chocolate flake tea this morning. This is courtesy of Tea Pigs. Well, not courtesy of, I did buy it, but it's still very tasty. I do like Tea Pigs hot drinks because they're quite good. I decided I'd make a quick video today because quite a few of you have been asking about the tiny house and how we're getting on, and we haven't filmed anything in a tiny house for quite a while. And the main reason for that, well, there's a few reasons why. One of the reasons why is that we're actually living next to a main road now. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but we've got kind of like quite a busy road, pretty much the other side of a hedge next to us, so there's quite a lot of background noise, which I'm sure you'll hear. Another reason why I haven't filmed anything in the house for a while is because I felt like I filmed everything in the house about 1,000,000 times, and it kind of got a bit boring, so I stopped doing it and kind of mainly filmed things outside and away from the house. And over the past year we haven't really done a lot, so I haven't really filmed much over the last year. But quite a few of you have asked about an update of the house, how we're getting on, has anything changed? And the short answer is no, not really. But we are 3 years into living in the tiny house now. We first moved in, I think it was the first week of December 2020, and it's the 30th of December today, 2023. So it's been about 3 years and a month since we very first moved in. And we've also just kind of entered into our 3rd winter in the house, which should be absolutely fine. We managed fine last winter. The first winter we lived in the house was quite hard because we just didn't have a clue what to expect and found a couple of problems and bits and pieces. But last winter was fine, and I'm pretty sure this winter's going to be fine as well. But yeah, 3 years living in the tiny house. What's it been like? And yeah, like, how is it? I don't really know how to start with that question, to be honest, because this is kind of our house, our home. We've been here for 3 years and it's just kind of normal to us now. Becky's having a shower in the bathroom, if you can hear water sloshing around. But yeah, living in the house for 3 years, I don't know really. It's kind of a bit of a strange question, because I think as an outsider who doesn't live in a tiny house, you kind of might see it or perceive it as being really difficult to live in, or really extreme, or I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest, because this is just kind of our house, our home, and it just is what it is. Even when we ask Joss, because his mum lives in like a normal house, does he notice any real difference? And he says he doesn't even really think about it. We just live in a tiny house and his mum doesn't, and that's just kind of like how it is. It's quite weird to explain, really. A lot of people that live in normal houses don't really kind of get it either. They think it's really small and maybe a bit silly, and like, what's the point? But we came from very similar roots, I suppose, just living a conventional life in a conventional house, and we've ended up here. So if we can do it, then there's no reason why anybody else can't do it. Although I would say, I think that if you had multiple young children or a bigger family, then it would be quite difficult. When we first got the house, Joss lived in his bedroom upstairs, which is quite small, and now he lives in our van, which is kind of parked next to the house. So he very rarely actually comes in here. He only stays in the house if Becky has to go away in the van for work. Other than that, he just basically lives in our van. He's in there right now playing on Xbox. I think that if we didn't have the van, it would be quite cramped in here, especially with him playing on his Xbox, because he likes to kind of shout and scream with his friends and all that kind of stuff. And when he does play on his Xbox in the house, if someone's away in the van, it is a bit of a nightmare. So there is that, but we wouldn't have the van without the house, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to afford to have the van. So I guess it's kind of ebbs and flows. When we actually first started our tiny house journey, we did move onto a campsite right at the beginning. We lived there for 9 months initially, and then we moved to Becky's mum's garden. We lived there for 6 months. That's when we built the van. Then we moved back to the campsite again, and we were there for 6 months. And then the campsite we were on, they basically sent us an email saying that they were shutting down, and within 18 months everybody had to leave. And at that point we were looking around trying to find somewhere else to go, and we actually ended up finding the place where we are now, which is just a piece of private land which we're renting kind of a corner on, and there's about 7 or 8 other people here in static caravans as well, so it's kind of like a bit of a like community kind of thing. We've also got a lot more room than we had at the campsite as well, because on the campsite you get a pitch which is kind of a certain size, which is big enough generally for a caravan and an awning, or a caravan and a car or something like that. But here we've got quite a bit more room, so we've got the tiny house, and then we've got the van and the car towards the end of the house, so it's almost about, I don't know, 30 feet long I suppose. And then we've got kind of a fence on the other side. We've bought a shed which we have an exercise bike in, and we're connected up to the mains water. We've got a wastewater connection, so we're all plumbed in. We don't have to keep filling up the tank or anything like that anymore. We don't have to have the pump running for the water because we've got mains water pressure. Yeah, we've just kind of got everything that we need here. I mean, the only thing we're really missing is kind of like a garden, I suppose. But I mean, we could put a fence up and kind of enclose ourselves in. The owner has said we can do that, but it's kind of like quite expensive to put a fence up, and I feel like it's a bit antisocial to kind of like fence yourself off from the world. So we haven't bothered doing that, and I don't think we will, to be honest. We're quite happy here, and if we ever do go outside, it's to walk the dogs, and we'll go for a walk anyway, so I'm not really too worried about that. But yeah, we've been here for, well, September last year we moved here, so we've been here for a year and 2 months, just over a year and 2 months. Yeah, loving it here at the moment. Rent's quite cheap, all our bills are included. You know, council tax, water, electric, everything's included in what we pay. And yeah, it works really well. It's also a lot cheaper than the campsite, because at the campsite you have to pay commercial rates for electricity on top of your ground fees and everything like that. Whereas here we'll just pay a set fee to the owner, and they're really nice as well. They're kind of like, oh, just pay your rent and happy days. So yeah, it's all good really. The house itself though is still in really good condition. On the corner where it's most exposed to the weather, the paint is kind of wearing away a bit, so I do need to kind of sand it down and repaint it, which I think I'm going to do next year. We need like a dry spell in the spring, maybe perhaps like a week of dry weather, and then I'll sand it down and repaint the house. I don't think we're going to go crazy colours or anything like that, just kind of keep it quite neutral. But other than that, the house is held up really well structurally. Everything's absolutely fine as it was. We don't have any mould issues anymore because we addressed that. Dehumidifier, condensation traps. The roof is still intact. I often wondered how long a timber roof would last, because I thought that maybe if it got wet, or I don't know, you didn't stain it or something, that maybe it would like rot or something like that. But no issues with the roof. We've had no leaks. Yeah, everything is tip top really. Just needs a little bit of maintenance on the paint, but other than that it's all good. Another thing that we're doing, which is slightly different than we've done before, is we're using our bathroom as a drying room. So whenever we have any laundry or wet clothes, wet coats and things like that, we'll hang them up in the bathroom. We'll put the dehumidifier in the bathroom with it, shut the window, shut the door as well, and then anything that's in there dries pretty quickly, because we've got the towel rail heater in there as well. I'm stroking Digby and I'm getting fluff everywhere. So that's working really well, actually, using the bathroom as a drying room. One of the main benefits of living in a tiny house, though, as we've said before, is kind of the financial saving of it all. Obviously living in a smaller space is much cheaper, not only to heat and to run, but just life in general is much cheaper in a smaller house. That financial saving though has enabled us to have a much better kind of like work-life balance. Josh comes and stays with us a lot more now. He is getting the train to school, so I can just drive him to the train station up the road, which is about a 10-minute drive, and then he'll go to school. And then that gives him the freedom to kind of come and go when he pleases, and because I'm not working, because I don't have to, he can just kind of come and go whenever he wants really, and I can pick him up and take him to school. I'm also looking after the dogs full time, and I've just started doing a degree as well with the Open University because I can. I've got the time to do it, which is something that I would never have been able to have done if we were still living a conventional life, because I'd have to work to pay for the house, pay for the mortgage, the rent, whatever. So 3 years on, I think we're still really happy with our decision to move into the tiny house. I don't think we're going to move away from here anytime soon, because I think we've got quite a good thing going here. We just pay £600 a month, and you know, that's all of our bills, expenses, apart from food and other things obviously, but all of our kind of like staple things are just kind of paid for, and I don't think anything's really going to change, and if they do go up slightly then they do, but there's just no reason for us to ever move anywhere else really. I think maybe long term, when Joss gets a bit older and I finish my degree and I don't know, maybe things change, we'll reconsider what we're going to do, maybe move somewhere else. I think maybe we thought about perhaps buying a house, like a rundown house or something, and living on there and staying in a tiny house and just kind of using the land, I suppose. But then we'd have to go somewhere quite cheap, or much cheaper than this area anyway, which is kind of like going further north or into Wales or something like that. But yeah, for now anyway, everything's all good, life's good, the house is good. I don't actually think there's any, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything really negative about living in a tiny house, to be honest with you. I mean, when it gets really cold, it gets a bit cold in the house, but we can just kind of run the fan heater and top it up, and yeah, it's quite well insulated in here, so we don't really have many issues with getting cold and stuff. So I don't really know what else to say about the house, to be honest with you. It's pretty much as it was last year, I suppose. If there's anything you want to know specifically, then just leave a question in the comment section or send me a message or something. But yeah, life on the whole, 3 years in, looking forward to the next 3 years really, and beyond that. Gonna paint the house in the spring. No leaks, everything's all good, structurally everything's fine, life's good. Yeah, nothing to complain about. What are you doing, Looney? The difference between these two dogs is crazy. So Digby likes to just kind of have his own space and be on his own, and Luna just wants to sit on your lap all the time and be under a blanket.
Digby likes to be next to you.
Well, yeah, he likes to be next to you, but he doesn't like anyone kind of encroaching on his personal space, whereas Luna just wants to be smothered all the time under a blanket. If she's not under a blanket, she'll like scratch at you until you put her under one. There we go. Another thing we've started doing over the last couple of months is having these Huel pots for lunch. It's basically like dehydrated meals, I suppose, that you just kind of warm up with boiling water, and it's kind of like a whole meal in there. Whenever I used to have lunch, I would always just have like cheese on toast, or sometimes I'd make an omelette, but I'd never really know what to have for lunch. But just having one of these, it's just so much easier. They're really quite good. I was a bit sceptical about them at first because I thought they'd be horrible, but they're actually really nice. This is a Cajun pasta one that I've got today. I've also got a chicken and mushroom one. We've got a tomato and herb, and we've just got a load of new ones because they got delivered today actually. Mac and cheese. And what was the other one?
Bolognese.
Oh, bolognese, yeah. Yeah, so I have the ones with pasta in them. Becky can't eat those because she can't eat gluten, but they do like vegan ones as well. Actually, I think they're all vegan, aren't they?
They're all vegan, but they do gluten-free ones as well.
So the chicken and mushrooms like vegan chicken, obviously, then?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope you enjoyed this video though, and like I said earlier, if you have anything specific that you would like to ask, then just leave a comment or send us a message and we'll get back to you. Maybe we'll start making some more frequent tiny house videos if that's what you guys would like. Or I don't know when we're planning to go away in the van next. Probably not until the summer, I shouldn't think. We might go away at Easter, but whether we'll go away in the van or not, I'm not sure.
I'm going away in the van too.
Yeah, Becky's going away in the van.
Actually, a week.
You're going away in the
Uh-huh.
van like basically every single week.
Yeah.
Not fair. I hope you enjoyed this video anyway, guys. We'll see you soon. Who knows when it's going to be? Maybe it'll be next week, or I don't know. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? You ready to go out, aren't you? Ready to go out? Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Alright, we'll see you soon. Bye bye. What do you think, Loons? Oh my goodness me.